In today's solo episode, I'll talk about how we can properly steal like an artist. Why do we all have to go through the same phases of content creation, from stealing to imitating, emulating, and then eventually creating our original work? And it's true that every one of us as creatives needs to steal like an artist, but we have to do it without being considered a thief. I can remember what it was like to first start filmmaking, to paint for the first time, or to create even the first episode of this podcast. And it's kind of crazy to think back to those times, but I do remember exactly what it felt like. Everything felt slow. My curiosity was often blocked by worrying about what others would think or questioning if I was doing things right or doing things wrong. A quick example from helping other people start as painters recently, they always wanted to use a canvas, and I remember exactly how that felt. Then I learned from a friend of mine who was a full-time artist and painter. That's literally what he does. Ricky friggin' Kruger, you can look him up, incredible artist. He was telling me that 9 out of 10 times he paints on cardboard or something that he has lying around. And then when you want to create that commission, that big piece or something for your wall, you can go grab that canvas. But when we first start, we think we need the canvas, we need the right brushes, and we're worrying about the wrong things. The wild thing is, now that I've been through this super speed content creation learning, I know that I could learn the next bunch of things way faster. It's like once you learn how to learn once, going through this growth mindset process, we learn faster and faster and faster. And this is getting better at that most valuable skill. It's kind of meta, but getting better at how to learn. And I can remember starting out, it felt really intimidating to start creating, to start posting. It can be really scary. But understanding that stealing like an artist is the first step actually makes this all a lot easier. If you give yourself permission to steal from creatives that you look up to, it unlocks exponential learning in that medium. And this is because everyone goes through this. From consuming other people's content, to imitating, to starting to make their own. And that's where the permission comes from. Realizing that Taylor Swift went through this. The person that you look up to in terms of being a creator went through this. And maybe you really look up to a few YouTubers or IG influencers, and you want to get started making and sharing stuff for yourself. Even once we make the decision to go from watcher, listener, or reader to creator, it can still be tough to get started. And that's because so many things lead to procrastination, like imposter syndrome, feeling as though we don't have the right gear, overlearning, over-preparing, and so many more things. And this same thing actually happens when you move to a new platform as well. Even if you are a successful creator on one platform, in one medium, let's say video creator on TikTok, but you want to expand your creations to writer on LinkedIn, or maybe you've grown a really successful following on Facebook, you have an engaging page built primarily from short videos, and you want to start writing threads on Twitter. Perhaps all of the opposite is true. You've written some books, you've had some success on Twitter or LinkedIn as a writer, but you're really interested in creating some longer form cinematic videos. It's something that you're itching to do. You can feel these same elements of procrastination and the same need to free ourselves from the things that hold us back. And the way to free ourselves is to copy people, to steal like an artist. The key is to find creators on these platforms, in those mediums, and full speed copy them. That is the trick. But it's important to understand why we should copy people, to understand that this is truly crucial. We are not born with the ability to walk, talk, catch a ball, drive a car, or do math. In all areas of life, we learn by copying others. And the same goes for making art, for creating anything. If we are not willing to copy others, then we will never find our own voice. The copying is step number 1. And the way it works is that we get inside the minds of those who created before us, and then we find our own voice. And it's important to point out that we don't learn by copying the surface of what someone does. If I steal Post Malone's flow, rhyme structure, beats, and lyrics, I'm not actually creating. Instead, valuable, true copying happens when I seek to understand what it feels like to think like Post Malone might have been thinking when he created, to listen to things that he writes, pay attention to the amount of words per minute, hear the style of the track, and instead of copying and pasting, I attempt to come up with some similar creative decisions. Real good stealing is about trying things out for ourselves. If I love how Casey Neistat shares quotes on cardboard with a Sharpie, maybe I can incorporate into one of my own videos, some handwriting on a steamy mirror, and that inspiration was driven by creating physical text within my video. Not because it's a Sharpie, not because it's on cardboard, but because it shows physical words at the right moment in a movie I'm making. Now, I'm launching a separate channel on YouTube right now, and so when I make my videos, they will be my own, but they'll definitely be influenced by the likes of people like Michelle Khare, Cody Warner, Ali Abdaal, and Audrey Ember. So when it comes to what you want to make, try studying creators who make awesome things. I hope in your case, if it's a podcast, you can steal things from me. They could create on the same medium and platform as you, or they might even create with similar topics and ideas as you, or both. Either way, you can pull little pieces and elements of the way that creators are thinking and coming up with their process that will help you get started without having to start out slowly. So copy aspects of what other creators or myself are doing. Don't plagiarize. Like you wouldn't take this whole script from my podcast today and record the episode and upload it, but copy. Write out your own ideas about what stealing like an artist means to you and who you're looking after and who you're following and how you're stealing, and publish that. If you copy people enough, you will shift from imitation to inspiration, from copying to emulating, from emulating to making your own stuff. And then, and only then, you will start creating in your personal voice. 2 last important thoughts that can be helpful. One is how I would do this is by creating a quick swipe or steal list. A victim list would be a bit harsh, especially because any great creator would be honored and thrilled for you to steal from them. But I think you get the idea. How I would do this is to make a list of 6 creators that you look up to. Find 2 people creating content in the medium you've chosen. So that could be short form writing. Choose 2 people creating on the platform you have chosen. So that could be LinkedIn or Facebook or X. And choose 2 people who share similar topics or ideas to what you have chosen. So maybe that's history or fitness or productivity or gardening. Steal some of their style, creative decisions, and thought processes from each of these 6 people, but make sure that you start shipping your own work right away. And the second thing that I wanted to point out is that Austin Kleon covers this concept beautifully in his book titled Steal Like an Artist. He compares good theft to bad theft and reminds us that good theft is about honoring and studying, whereas bad theft is about degrading or quickly skimming, not going deep into the process of learning from that person. Good theft is about stealing from many people and triangulating, whereas bad theft is about just stealing from one person and having very much the idea of looking over their shoulder, copying what they're doing, and then doing it. In other words, plagiarizing the work. But when we steal in a good way, we are giving credit to the people that create it. Not to sound too meta, but in this case, I'm giving a ton of credit to Austin Kleon for really helping solidify how I feel about the idea of stealing like an artist. And finally, when we steal in a positive way, we transform, we sample, remix the work of the people before us, whereas when we're the bad thieves, we're just ripping off and imitating the work. I hope this really helps you have a better appreciation of why and how we should all be, in fact, we all have to be stealing like artists. And I can't wait to hear from one of you that have taken this concept, applied it to your own work, shipped some of it, and share it with me at Just Keep Learning, because I want to know how I can support your work. JKL community, I really love when people share questions, so keep them coming. Fire us DMs or replies and comments about the topics that you would like tackled on the show. I've done so much learning about how to succeed in the creator economy, and sharing it with you, if it helps you succeed as a creator, brings tears to my eyes. I appreciate all of you so much. Until the next episode, all the best, and remember, just keep learning.